guys? It's George here, back in the YouTube studio, playlistpush.com. Another awesome video. So today we're talking about why your monthly listeners on Spotify keep dropping. You know, you're watching those numbers every day, you're seeing it drop. Maybe it's dropping fast, maybe it's dropping slow and just driving you nuts. So I'm just going to go over a few things that we see from the thousands of artists we work with, some things we see them doing, which typically keeps their monthly listeners going up, or at least staying around the same range. So let's get right into it. Number one, hate to say it, and obviously, you know, I know that there's recording costs. A lot of people are working part-time, things like that, but you're not releasing enough music. Spotify really is a platform based on new. That's how it thrives. That's what feeds almost all of the Discover features, from Release Radar, New Music Friday, New Music Dance, all these small, it's all about new music, right? So it's very common sense, but obviously it's hard to do. You need to get those tracks mastered. You know, maybe you have someone you're making music with. Maybe you have a whole band. It's hard to get everyone together. That really is the formula, is putting out those songs. If you're a new artist, obviously you shouldn't really be packaging your songs into an album. You should be releasing those as singles, promoting them as much as you can for a few months, moving on to the next one, and just keeping the gas pedal down. At a minimum, it's recommended if you release a new single every 3 months, and let's say an EP every 6 months. So that's kind of something that you can stick to. The next part is your social presence is mediocre. And, you know, even Tyler, the Creator, has said it in an interview. He said, you know, someone drops an album and then they tweet about it, or they make, you know, one Instagram story and it's like one social post. Like, that's not enough. You got to keep promoting that song, but you've also got to keep promoting it in different ways. Obviously, if you just keep promoting the same video or the same sound clip, this is where TikTok creators come in. Finding TikTokers to create videos with your sound that you can share on social. Anyone that's doing well, anyone that has their monthly listeners going off that are continuing to climb, it's because there's a constant engagement and they're constantly hammering those songs and they're promoting those songs. It's a long tail thing, and that's the great thing about streaming, is it really doesn't stop. Back in the 90s, when I was a kid, you bought the CDs, they sold all the albums, and then they moved on to the next one. But now, a lot of these songs, they have a very long tail to them. That's why I see a lot of these companies acquiring catalogs, because there's a long future of people streaming that song into forever. It just continues forever. So that's something to keep in mind. Keep promoting those songs. Keep that social presence up, or farm it out to someone else, and, you know, bounce ideas off your friend. Find someone you can just ping pong ideas with, and just keep posting, keep promoting those songs. Truck going by, sorry about that. Number 3 is you're changing genres. Let's say you started off making more indie rock stuff that was like upbeat, and then you kind of switched to more of like a melancholy folk style. So, you know, that really is tough, because that makes it harder for Spotify to really index who you are as an artist. Because what happens is when you release a song, it starts throwing off data points, who's listening to it, what type of playlist getting added to, what type of other artists are in those playlists. Spotify starts figuring out who you are and who they should put you in front of. If you keep changing your sound, it makes it really hard for not only fans that have already jumped on the bandwagon with you, it's really hard to just gain new fans, because you're kind of all over the place. So it's best to, if anything, start a different artist profile if there's a different project you want to start, and stay in that lane. And there's people like, oh, I don't care about genres. But unfortunately, that's how it works. That's how people discover music. They like what they like, and they stay in those niches. Number 4, your Spotify artist profile is stale. So people go to your artist profile, there's nothing going on. You don't have a playlist pinned to the top. You don't have up-to-date photos. The worst thing ever, you don't even have a bio written. Even worse than that, and I still see this with artists that we work with, you don't have any of your socials in there. Like, you don't have to put Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. You don't have to put everything. But if you're on Instagram and you're active on there, put your Instagram on your Spotify profile, because if someone finds you and they can't go somewhere else to figure out who you really are, I hate to say it, but they're not going to Google you. They're probably just going to move on with their lives. So if they can go to Instagram, follow you on the gram, you can keep them up to date, because you're keeping your social profiles fresh. That's why your monthly listeners aren't dropping. So all of this stuff kind of feeds into each other. So let's go through them really quick. You're not releasing enough music, so bang out some more tracks. If there's someone that you sing with and they're not available, they're not able to do vocals, start your own project, start putting out instrumentals, right? Start putting out your own beats. Your social presence is mediocre. You don't have to be everywhere, but if you're going to be somewhere, make sure you post. If you have an Instagram, make sure you're posting, putting stories up, reels, whatever. If you're on Twitter, you should be tweeting. If not, just delete your Twitter. Simplify it and double down on what's working or what platforms you want to use. You're changing genres too much, so you're all over the place sonically. People can't figure out who you are, where you're going, or what you're doing. Your Spotify profile sucks. You don't have cool photos on there. Like I said, no socials, no bio. All that stuff is killing you. So that's why your monthly listeners are going down. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Don't forget to subscribe. You know, when you subscribe, you become one of these numbers, but it's not just a number on the ticker. It's part of a community here at the Playlist Push YouTube channel. So we'd love to have you. Drop a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Share it with your friends. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.